Okay, picture this. You're sitting in the stands at SoFi Stadium in LA. The air is just thick with tension. For over an hour, you've been watching what can really only be described as this agonizing, gridlocked stalemate. I mean, the defenses are absolutely impenetrable. Attacks are just completely sputtering out. You're probably sitting there wondering, are we ever going to see a breakthrough? And then, well, without warning, the entire match just fractures wide open and descends into absolute beautiful chaos. Let's dive into exactly how Switzerland pulled off this staggering 4-1 victory over Bosnia and Herzegovina.
I mean, the sheer contrast is just staggering. For the first 74 minutes of this match, absolutely zero goals. It was a literal wall out there. But then, boom, 4 goals in this blistering 16-minute window. It's the kind of breathtaking collapse and subsequent avalanche that genuinely leaves you speechless. So, how on earth does a team go from looking completely stagnant to just scoring at will in the blink of an eye? Let's break it down.
Section 1. The setup and the wall.
So to really get this, we have to look at the context of Group B. Both Switzerland and Bosnia walked onto the pitch carrying this massive weight on their shoulders. Both teams were downright desperate. Switzerland, led by coach Murat Yakin, captain Granit Xhaka, and striker Briel Embolo, had just come off this super frustrating 1-1 draw against Qatar. Their finishing was a major concern. On the flip side, Bosnia, playing under coach Sergej Barbarez, with their veteran captain Edin Dzeko and a seriously informed goalkeeper in Nikola Vasilj, well, they'd also drawn their first match 1-1 against Canada. So with all 4 teams in the group tied at exactly 1 point, the stakes literally could not have been higher. A win here was absolute gold. 68%. That is how much of the ball Switzerland actually controlled in that first half. They were dictating the tempo, pinging the ball around, just completely dominating possession. But as we all know, possessing the ball and actually doing something with it, 2 completely different things. They were just continuously running headfirst into this fiercely organized Bosnian defense.
Let's look at the anatomy of this frustrating wall. Switzerland definitely had their chances, but they just couldn't crack the code. First, Dan and Joy drilled the slow shot, but side netting. Then, Remo Freuler stepped up with a really similar attempt, again, side netting. And when they finally did manage to get the ball on target, like Briel Embolo's header from this crazy tight angle, Bosnian goalkeeper Nikola Vasilj was right there with a spectacular stretching save. Vasilj even parried out an overhead kick from Ndoye that ended up being offside anyway. Bosnia's defense, anchored by Tarek Moharimovic, was just incredibly compact. They made an unbelievable 35 clearances in the first half alone. So at halftime, the scoreboard is locked at 0-0. Switzerland is visibly frustrated and Bosnia is holding absolutely firm.
Section 2. The spark.
Fast forward to the 71st minute. The Swiss fans are absolutely biting their nails. Coach Murat Yakin looks to his bench and decides, all right, it's time to roll the dice. He makes this absolute tactical masterclass of a substitution. He brings on Ruben Vargas and a 20-year-old rising star from Freiburg named Johan Manzambi. This double change, it was the exact spark the Swiss team was begging for. Just 3 minutes. That is exactly how long it took for 20-year-old Johan Manzambi to completely turn this match on its head. The instant impact is honestly just staggering. Let's jump to the 74th minute and see how this breakthrough actually happens. Switzerland pushes an attack down the right side. Bosnia's Almir Mehmek tries to clear the ball with a header, but it's an incomplete clearance. The ball just drops loose right near the penalty spot, and guess who's there waiting? Johan Manzambi. In a split second, the young substitute unleashes this ferocious, absolute rocket of a side volley, just full power. Goalkeeper Vasilj doesn't stand a chance. The deadlock is finally broken, Switzerland goes up 1-0, and the stadium absolutely erupts.
Section 3. The collapse and the flood. The sheer density of the action that followed is just unrelenting. You've got the Manzambi goal at the 74th minute. Just 6 minutes later, a catastrophic red card for Bosnia. By the 84th minute, a second Swiss goal from Vargas. At the 90th, Manzambi strikes again. 90+3, a Bosnian consolation goal. And finally, at 90+7, a Swiss penalty. It's this cascading avalanche of events where literally every single minute felt like a highlight reel. But if there was one completely fatal blow after that opening goal, it happened in the 80th minute. Coach Yakin had brought on another sub, Djibril Sow. Sow immediately plays this brilliant through ball, sending Embolo sprinting right behind the Bosnian defense. Tarek Moharimovic, the Bosnian defender who had been so incredibly solid all game, makes a desperate last-man tackle to deny a clear goal-scoring opportunity. The referee has absolutely no choice. Straight red card. Suddenly, Bosnia is down 1-0 and reduced to 10 men. I mean, talk about a recipe for total disaster. With that man advantage, Switzerland just became absolutely ruthless. The floodgates completely swung open. In the 84th minute, Embolo holds the ball up near the spot, turns, and finds Ruben Vargas totally unmarked out on the left. Vargas steps up and delivers this perfectly curling, precise finish right into the bottom right corner. Zero chance for Vassal, 2-0. But they weren't done. In the 90th minute, Vargas turns into the provider, whipping in a cross from the left. Manzambi meets it with a super neat, clinical first-time turn-in finish, 3-0. The substitutes had just completely torn apart whatever was left of that Bosnian defense.
We are witnessing actual history here, guys. With that second goal, Johan Manzambi, at just 20 years and 247 days old, became the youngest ever player to score a World Cup brace for Switzerland. Even crazier, he's the very first Swiss player to ever score multiple World Cup goals coming off the bench. I mean, he stepped onto that pitch as a prospect and walked off as an instant global star. Now, to their credit, Bosnia kept fighting. Deep into stoppage time, right at the 93rd minute, Bosnian substitute Ruben Vargas found the ball at the edge of the box and just blasted a ferocious volley past Swiss goalkeeper Gregor Kobel. It made the score 3-1. While their tournament qualifying hopes were pretty severely damaged at that point, this incredible strike at least gave the Bosnian fans in the stands a brief moment of immense pride and something to genuinely cheer for. But Switzerland had the absolute final word. In the 97th minute, VAR awarded Switzerland a penalty after Amar Mehmek fouled Djibril Sow inside the box. The captain, Granit Xhaka, stepped up to the spot. Calm, cool, perfectly composed, Xhaka squeezed the ball right into the bottom corner. Vasilic actually guessed right and dove, but he just couldn't stop it. And with that, the massive 4-1 victory was officially sealed.
Section 4. Records and the Aftermath.
Synthesizing all of this madness, 3 massive takeaways really stand out. First, Johan Manzambi, 20 years old, comes off the bench, scores in 3 minutes, finishes with a brace. It is straight up one of the greatest substitute performances in World Cup history. Second, we have to talk about Murat Yakin's managerial genius. His subs, Manzambi and Vargas, combined for 3 goals and an assist. That kind of timing and selection, that is top-tier World Cup management. And finally, Maharomovic's 80th minute red card. It's a harsh, brutal lesson in discipline. It turned a difficult 1-0 deficit into an utterly impossible situation. And all this brilliance on the pitch brings us to the highly anticipated Group B standings. With this explosive win, Switzerland skyrockets up to 4 points. Interestingly enough, Canada, who actually won their match against Qatar on the exact same day, also sits on 4 points. Bosnia and Qatar are now languishing down at the bottom with 1 point each, which perfectly sets the stage for an absolute thriller. On June 24th, out in Vancouver, Switzerland and Canada will face off in their final group match. It's going to be a massive winner-takes-all decider for the top of Group B. So as we wrap up today's deep dive into this incredible 16-minute avalanche, I want to leave you with a quick question to chew on. Who was your true man of the match? Do you give it to the 20-year-old phenom Johan Manzambi for that historic, record-breaking brace off the bench? Or do you give it to Ruben Vargas, who fundamentally changed the game with his incredibly precise goal and that crucial assist? It's a genuinely tough call, and I think it perfectly highlights just how brilliant the Swiss substitutes were on the day. Keep exploring the game, keep analyzing the tactics, and I'll see you for our next explainer.